We just sent for the trips for next year. We're going to go to Zimbabwe in January, to Rhodes in March, and Sikkim in April. So if you're interested in any of those tours, check out our website. Just Google Orchid Conservation Alliance and go look at our eco tours. They're on there, and take a look. Hopefully you'll be able to join us. Thank you.
Welcome. Does anybody else have any announcements? Yes.
Yes, it's not what related, but you should quite a bit about our of Filipino ancestry. So we're gonna have a pistahan over the weekend. Same with the so pistahan. There's parade on Saturday. Saturday. So please come if you have time. Where is it? It's going to be up there from Bella. The parade starts at 11 from Civic Center to your Bella Gardens. There's going to be, you know, food.
Okay, does anybody else have any announcements? Hearing none, we'll move on. Derek, if you would introduce the speaker, we can get started with the program.
Could that hurt this damn shape?
No, he wants to be as dark as possible. And then I'm ready to share a screen with you.
You can introduce if you want.
Okay.
Excellent.
Just an announcement. Put it in the back of your head. Orchids in the Park is coming in February, last week of February. You know what I mean. Okay, last thing, if you want to get something judged, you have lots of opportunities here over in Filoli and right across the hall. All right, so Ron is here. There he is. Okay.
Bulbophyllum.
Who is that?
Bulbophyllum.
What are you filling with?
I didn't do it.
Bulbophyllum. That's probably my fault. Okay. You know what I meant. All right, so Ron's been doing orchid growing for 50 years now. Is that old? Probably 40. I was gonna make that joke. So we've got, over 100,000 images out there floating around with Ron's credit on them. So it's a great opportunity to have you out and to talk about such a weird and photographical genus. We really appreciate you coming out. So today, we're going to talk on Bulbophyllum, and we've got basically Ron co-authoring books with Mary. So we've got two. The first two published are Masabeli's Gems of the Orchid World and Calfortis, Mariposa Lilies and Their Relatives. Their third book, which is a compendium of miniature orchid species, which I think is that the 4-volume set?
Actually, that's the first edition.
Okay, so then they came out with another couple of books later. Then the American Orchid Society Guide to Orchids and Their Culture, which is one of the first books that I read when I joined the society a couple of years ago. Instrumental. So they've recently finished a 5th book and a much revised 2nd edition of the Compendium of Miniature Orchid Species. So now it's 4 volumes with 3,100 photos, 1,800 new ones, which, you get the chance, check it out. If you want to see it, I can show you.
I don't know.
You didn't bring it?
We changed cars at the last minute.
Okay. But Mary's hooked me up with mine, so if you want a cassette, you can always send her an email and get that. Okay, thank you very much, and it's up to you.
Let's sit on that.
Okay, I need to share the
I feel like you're sleeping from that dinner.
but you have to leave.
Did you get around?
I did.
And didn't wait till.
I didn't work at all. Yeah.
I just slapped him silly.
You could, right? But I fight back on that. Huh?
Shortcut to seven.
Right, right.
Okay, and then we go to. Just hang on, it's hiding my.
Susan Anderson or Karen Olson, can you hear me? Is everything okay on the audio before we get going?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Thanks.
Can we move that
Banner,
banner somewhere?
is it your banner?
It's not on here, it's your banner. And minimize it or something.
Yeah.
Look, Susan Anderson.
Hi, Susan.
I said, get well.
Hide non-video.
Thank you. Hi, Ron. Hi, Marnie, and everybody
Hi,
else.
Susan.
There, now you're good. Okay, Ron, here's your thing.
I can push the buttons? You're my button pusher. Or you push my buttons, I don't know
I
what.
push your button.
So,
Making more changes, it will come back.
okay.
I still.
Anyway, so this is my talk on Bulbophyllum. I actually don't grow very many because I don't have warm conditions. I grow cool growing orchids in both my lights and in my greenhouse. And so a few species from Australia outside of my unheated area. I brought one tonight. But anyway, I really find it fascinating to photograph. I just think they're amazing. They've got a bunch of really weird traits. We're gonna, let's see, we'll just go with them because I did this little thing before. So probably the largest genus of the entire orchid family. There's probably 2,000 species. They threw a whole bunch in there recently of other genera like Trias and Sinifia. So they made the genus much larger. So they occur everywhere in the tropics except for Europe and Antarctica. They're in Africa, Madagascar, South America. We have one or two that reach into Florida, Central South America, Australia, and the whole world. Southeast Asia is their center of diversity. They often smell super bad. Some just are so pervasive you just can't be in the same room with them because the day warms up. Most of them are fly pollinating. Most of them have a hinged lip, so when the fly goes back to the source of that smell, the lip tilts them back to pollinate, picking up the pollen, and of course, like flies on, they will go to the next one and do it all over again. That's the hinge lip thing. And so there's one here that the pseudobulbs are the size of a pin, they're like a push pin, and there's some with 3-foot leaves. So they're a huge range of sizes that it's amazing. The genus is incredible. So I love seeing them. I love photographing them. There are many groups, so they try to split them off. They try to make all these various genera out of Bulbophyllum. The problem is that these kind of these connecting species between the sections. So there's Cerophyllum. We think of Cerophyllum as being like a semicircle of flowers, but then there's ones with 2 flowers and 1 flower. And it just kind of these groups kind of merge. So it's very inconvenient for taxonomists. So anyway, most Bulbophyllums have 1 leaf per pseudobulb, but there's various groups. There's an African very tough leathery leaf with two leaves per bulb with this long, what's called a brachus, like a knife-like inflorescence. And there's a whole bunch of ones that have 2 leaves while they're growing, but those will drop it. And as they drop, after they drop and before they start growing again at the end of the dormant season, they tend to bloom at that time. Tend to. So anyway, this is just an assortment of things I think are really cool. And I say this with almost every talk because I always throw fringy, frilly, hairy orchids in. Because of my lack of hair, I just kind of like, I'm attracted to them because I'm like, wow, I used to look like that. Okay, so anyway, Bulbophyllum, so what you can see is that the name of the species, the section it belongs to, and where it's from. So I wanted to go through all that. So this is real cute. Flowers only about 1 inch, and has this wonderful little round almost pumpkin-shaped pseudobulbs that are kind of dark purple. It's a very attractive plant. Not super easy to grow, but it is a nice thing. This is very common. It's easy to come by. It's inexpensive to find it. That lip and its hairs, that lip bobs up and down in the slightest breeze, and those hairs will just you can just walk by it and just go all over the place. It's incredibly motile. It's amazing. So this is very common. It has flattish pseudobulbs that are kind of about the size of a quarter, maybe 50-cent piece of bigger plants. It's a miniature, and it's quite easy to grow. This is Bulbophyllum. I didn't say the last one, but it's Bulbophyllum barbiger. It's bearded. Amazing one is Medusa. It's very common, very easy to come by. It's inexpensive. Has heads of flowers that are up to about 6 inches long with their hairs. Those are actually each 3 hairs is 1 flower. So that's a head of flowers. And they make big specimens. Doesn't really seem to have an odor. But it's very easy to come by. But when you bring it to meetings, you got to be careful. There's the hairs get all tangled up. You can't brush them clean. So, yeah. So this is a section called Desmosanthe. It's not that means anything, but this little guy is in the same section as that last one. It's quite a diverse group of species. And I just like this one because cute. It's bright orange with tips and segments. So little runner, and it's the running habitat. This is the one I was talking about. This pseudobulbs. The size of push pins. You would really be lucky to get one of these. I've only seen one in a collection in the United States. Not that there aren't more, but this one was from somebody who'd been to Australia and was given a piece. And obviously with pseudobulbs this big, who's going to find it in your luggage? So anyway, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I swear to God, I can't grow it. So why would I take it?
I killed one.
You killed one. There you go. Personally, so. Anyway, it's cute. So the flower sticks above the bulb by about 3/4 of an inch. That's how tiny this thing is. So this is Bulbophyllum globulifera. This is one of my favorites. This is a wonderful species from Australia. And I don't have a picture. Oh, yeah, actually, the next picture. So this is got these kind of weird weird propeller-like flowers. They come in green to brown. They have the segments come in various lengths. So it's quite. What's really cool about it is the plant. I love the plant. It has these prickly, like soft prickled bulbs. So there's a picture of the plant in the wild, in bloom. See the first it's going up, and little propellers. And then this picture is 2 species growing together. You can see the Bulbophyllum elysea. Again, I didn't say it. Bulbophyllum elysea at the top with the bumpy bulbs, and then the one growing below it is a species I'm not seeing yet in the wild. I've been to Australia 11 times. I'm going again at the end of the month. Exiguum. This is Bulbophyllum exiguum at the bottom, the white flower. It's kind of a cutie that blooms at different times of the year. This is my plant of an Australian species called Schillerianum. It has very reduced pseudobulbs. So you can see the pseudobulb like right in that little gap. You see a little bulb, but the leaf is really large, very fleshy, succulent. And then it does this like in the middle of winter. It has all these great flowers. It's just this sheet of orange flowers along the rhizome. I really like this one. So Bulbophyllum Schillerianum. I love this one. This is flowers probably about almost 2 inches, and it's a group called Intervallate. And that means again, not that means anything. It has a long inflorescence, and then at the very end has this. I guess you call it a fascicle, but it's where all the buds emanate from. They come from a common point. So it's a sequential flowering, but they can bloom for a long time from that thing at the end of the long, wiry, very lax inflorescence. But it's a beautiful one called callow blossom. I like them all. So
He has a pointer on
Oh,
it.
that's
He
a
doesn't
pointer?
have
Oh, look at that. This one does.
Yes, it's the red button at the bottom.
All right. Cut it out. Right? So I have some interesting Bulbophyllum that yet to bloom from Brazil. This is a Brazilian species. There's quite a number of South American Bulbophyllums, and they're not all that easy to come by or procure. But I like this one. This is one I saw years ago for the first time. But it has an interesting inflorescence. It's got the bulbs, the plant down here, 5-6 inch plant. The inflorescence comes very tall, and at the very end it bends over sharply, and the flowers hang down. This is Bulbophyllum Quintelia. This is very common. This is really easy to come by, very easy to grow, very easy to pass along with friends. It's a Bulbophyllum pardalotum. And there's a little bird in Australia called the pardalotes, and some of them are like the 50-spotted pardalote, or something like that, but they're pardalotes. Anyway, I have a feeling this is why this one is called that. But this is a group that This species is very cute, but you gotta go look at it in the greenhouse by about 10:30, because every day at 10:30 in the morning, it starts closing up. It's like, what good is that? You know, you do it for about a week or so, and but it's very cute, and it's brilliantly colored, and it's got some close relatives that are very similar in appearance. This is the group I was telling you about that has the 2 leaves for suitable. They're all African. They have an interesting inflorescence, which is called rackets. So this is the inflorescence, and these are the flowers coming from either side of them. So anyway, this is Bulbophyllum falcatum. Many species in this group, Megaclinium, and falcata means like a knife. You can see why they would call it that. But I like the flowers. They're facing inwards, so they're facing inwards towards the spike. What's that?
Looks like a surfboard.
There you go. There you go.
Ronnie, can you hold on?
Oh,
Could you move the cursor out of the middle of the screen?
It's not mine.
It's on Mary's.
oh, yours, because.
There, we got rid of it.
Okay, so never mind.
That red button down there.
Yeah, I know. And I'm used to this. That was frozen into a tizzy, all right? So yeah, we're
He usually turns it off. when
What is
it's-
it?
yeah, right. We'll leave it on the table after the meeting.
And that's it.
Anyway. So this is a close-up of a falcatum flower. So it's very variable in color and size and shape. It's very widespread throughout tropical Africa. I just thought that's very cool. This is an amazing thing. This is a Madagascar species called Camelinea, and it's beautiful to look at, but as the day warms up, it's like, back off, Jack, you are smelling really bad. You smell really bad. So it's got an inflorescence. Actually, the inflorescence is quite long. The head of flowers can get about 6 inches. I think there's a picture of the plant half there. So this wonderful, which plant was it? Has this wonderful, almost circular, like it had no leaf, like it dropped it, there'll be no, almost like heart shape, but it's flattened and it kind of hugs the mount. So it's really cool. And I know they're expensive to come by. It's warm growing, yeah. I just saw that Jeff Tyler, where the plant table came from today, has a couple clones of that. They were probably finished by the time you guys got up there yesterday or when you went, but I saw it on Tuesday, but this is an older picture, obviously. So this is one of the genera that was put in the Bulbophyllum. So it's section Trias, but it used to be Trias disciflora. Very easy to come by. It's very cute. It's got a little flower about an inch, inch and a half, about an inch and a half on this one, but I really like it. I don't think the lip is hinged on this, but I could be wrong about that. But they decided, no, it's just a Bulbophyllum, and I can kind of see it. I mean, you know. I love this. So Marnie used to have this, but I think this might be Marnie's plant. It's actually called Poplandra, and it's called Tortocephalum, and it's obvious. That's the sepal tails are twisted. What's interesting is just those are big. It has a tiny little dorsal sepal with fringes on the other side. The whole flower is only about I've seen like 2.5, maybe 3, but I've seen it. We have a picture in our book that I got from a outside source that's a pure yellow one, so it comes in a variety of colors, but it's still really cute, you have to admit. And I think Mark Pendleton at Brookside has some of these, in case you're interested.
So how many inches is that?
That's about the flower about 2.5, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and single flower is 1 flower at a time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a miniature, so I have a love of miniatures.
Mini.
So this is sometimes it's genus by itself called Epicreanthes, but they all have these weird. So what looks like a spider in the middle of the flower are actually divided petals. That's just one. That's just a petal. That's 2 petals, one on either side, but they're divided look like spiders. There's amazing ones. They're almost all New Guinean, and I think we saw. I think there's some. Anyway, all that little area from Guinea to the west, that region of tropical Asia. But anyway, they're incredible. What is amazing, although we call them miniatures because our definition of miniatures in our book was each bulb with its leaf is under 6 inches. That was the criteria. It could be a massive plant, but each bulb with its leaf was 6 inches or under. So this is a bulb, and it hangs down like in a chain. So bulb, leaf, and it just grows straight down. And they can get like a meter long. So really, do we really fit the criteria? I don't know, but that's what our thing was. We stuck with it. But anyway, so loud, we'll figure out it. What's that? They hang up trees, down trees, yeah, they hang straight down. Cool. So I've only seen a handful of those. I can see a lot more. This is very common, again, very easy to come by, inexpensive, but it's called Laciocolum, woolly lip. It does have a woolly lip. It's very cute. It comes in this color on the left, and it has a burgundy one where the petals and sepals are burgundy colored. And this is a what you call almost like an albino, a xanthic form, I guess. It lacks all the color. So that was Jeff Collar's there on the left. This is the group. So this is one of those groups within Bulbophyllum that has 2 leaves while it's growing, but those leaves become deciduous in the dry season. It lives in Thailand and other part. I mean, obviously, it's more widespread than just Thailand. But I think Mary saw it in Thailand growing on rocks. But it's very cool. I like it. It's like each one of those is a flower. With each, you break it apart, it's got all the segments, but it looks like a propeller. It's very cool. It kind of spirals around the thing. The spike goes up. The portion of the fluorescence hangs down with the flowers. I love it. So this is why I like photographing them, because I don't have to grow them, and they're there. I can look at them every time. They're always in bloom. This is a group of Bulbophyllum racemosae that has this finger of flowers. So there's one called Bulbophyllum. It'll come to me like when I don't need it, but it's the clone is monkey dew. It smells like monkey dew. It's something that smells really bad, so it's an awarded clone. I've written the species, and there's a lot of them in this section. This is Crassipes, and this one is a lovely one called Lilacina. It's actually doesn't smell bad. Not all Bulbophyllum smell bad. Like some of you got a sticky nose right in there. Got, oh, you are disgusting. But some are like, obviously, there's no question. And then some are actually a few with a very nice fragrance. One called Ambrosia. So there are nice ones. So. This would be the Ceropedalum type Bulbophyllum. So people would call this a genus, but there's ones with 2 flowers, 1 flower that actually would fit within this criteria. So people think of it as an umbel. An umbel is a type of inflorescence for any kind of flower. So an umbel would be radiating from a central point at equal planes. But interestingly, we learned while writing the book that these are actually, if you were to break that down, they're actually stacked. Like where they attach to the stem, they're actually closely stacked. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. So Ceropedalum, this is Annandale. Very lovely, one of the prettiest of the group, I think. This one was very beautiful. This is Jeff Towers. It's not commonly seen. The flowers are probably 2.5 inches or maybe close to 3, but it's very handsome. I actually like kind of orangey browny flowers at times. It's on a per flower basis, of course, but I do like this one, Longy bracteatum. And a beautiful one this is Jeff. It's the first one, the only one I've ever seen have this so far. Is this little one. The flowers are maybe an inch, so it's a very small head of flowers, but it's called venulosa, like vein. I think it's really pretty. So this is why I like them. And I never like Bulbophyllum. There was somebody who just left, and they said, well, somebody didn't come because they aren't really into them. Because I'm leaving because I'm not really into them. I'm like, well, okay, whatever, But I think they're amazing to look at. So Bulbophyllum coming guy is extremely variable because of a whole slew of colors. But this one was just stunning, the yellow color. This is one that is called Frosty Eye, and when I first saw it years and years ago, I think it was the opening show, it's called Boot Anointies, like little pair of boots, and that one had just 2 flowers. I thought, well, that's kind of cute. It means like a boot, But I've since learned it can have up to like 6 flowers in an inflorescence. And we learned in writing for a book, it's from Vietnam. It grows on the branches of trees high up in bright light over like canyons and drop offs. So it's got a lot of air movement and it likes bright light. So something to keep in mind if you have this species, it likes bright light. And when I say it likes bright light and you're growing it less than that, don't do it suddenly, do it gradually. Anytime you move a plant, do it gradually. So this was Cindy Hill's plant. This one, Andy Phillips was calling it Yasne after his wife. And I've seen it. I think we were starting the book. It was called Thai Oram, like Thailand. But we learned while writing the book, it's called Trong. However you say that name, Trong Quidii. So anyway, what's very cool about it is even when it's not blooming, it always seems to have some flowers. Is the backside of the leaves are purple, as you can see, has a little bulb almost just like just the shape of a pumpkin. It's a very cute little plant. And the plant's only about 4 inches, but you can see it comes in. This is kind of a bicolor one, but it comes in the solid orange and also comes in the solid red color form. So really pretty that way. This is a beauty. This is Rothschild. It's very difficult for a lot of people to get to flower, but I know like Tom Lee, I'll show you in a second. But that head of flowers is probably like 8 inches across. So it's a big head of flowers. And as you can see, it's absolutely stunning. So, and this is Tom Perlini's planted. So if each one of those is 8 inches across, that's a specimen, right? Right, I think. So this is a cute one called Graviolens. It does smell pretty bad. Mark Henson of Brookside Orchids had one at the show. I had a couple for sale at the show. I photographed one again right off. but it's not a commonly seen one. It's New Guinean, and this would really fit the to me it really fit the what would we think of as cerophyllum, because and it's obvious the flowers are coming at different points from that stem. It's not a true umbel, but anyway, the flowers are large. They're all that, well, for this group, they're about 3 inches. So nice thing. This is along the floor, and this is Jeff Tyler's plant. So each head of those each head of that is probably 4 inches. So Jeff is an amazing grower. He seeks out the rarities. He does it, you know, it's funny sometimes because Jeff is a little bit opinionated. That's great. I love it. He just goes, I'm tired of this one. And out he goes. Like, not this one per se, but you know, when he doesn't want something, he gets rid of it. But I think he's realizing that he grows some plants so big, you can't house them all in one greenhouse. And that's a perfect example, I think. But anyway, it's a lovely species. Well, attention, you're going to see a few. So look at this. Look at the range of that. It ranges from East Africa to like the tropical islands like Fiji and stuff like that. So it's extremely widespread and extremely variable. So check this out. This is all the same species according to the botanists. There. So I mean, you can't see that one next to the last one, but this is like, how could that be? And this one, real narrow segments. But what I noticed all of them have is a little tiny, like a cartoon baby hair, one single hair at the top of his head. That's the one thing I can see that they all have. I don't know. That's not the defining feature. Actually, there's a feature in the plant, a feature in the lip area called a stylidia. I guess there's one on either side of the lip. I actually should have learned before I said that, but stylidia are like what tell the species apart at the bottom. It's like if they have a stylidia that's the same as the next one, yeah, it's going to be the same species. And I sometimes I get it, and sometimes I don't. I'm really into like wildflowers. I go out and see stuff. I see populations of things. I see how things vary. I understand that, but sometimes I don't. So, and this is another longer flower. So very cool. All right, so onto other things. Is both of them horrendous, which I love. I love the. You can't see the fringes around the top, but I love the demarcation of color, like this, just this sharp, different, bright colored separation. This is the beauty of Bulbophyllum longissimum.
Yeah.
This flowers, these are up to like 10, almost 12 inches long. So they're really beautiful. It's actually been used in hybrids because of that. That's a wonderful feature. I think they've made this with Rothschild. I forgot what makes Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry very. Elizabeth Ann is the Rex, the hybrid's name, and Buckleberry is one of the clones. But anyway, it's super beautiful, and it's got this species that maybe Rothschild. Yeah. I just like this one. I learned it under a different name, but it's since a word called polyflorum. Obviously, very obvious, very pertinent, and very correctly named species, but I just really like it. It's just very cute. But interesting, that flower head is only about 1.5 inches across. So it's not big. It looks good there, though, right? This is Bulbophyllum bromei, which looks a lot like Fascinator, and I don't really I honestly don't know what separates them, but the top to bottom is about up to 6 inches. There's 2 different forms, 2 different color forms. Look, I love the tassels all around the thing. Those are called palliae. Plural is P-A-L-E-A-E. I forgot what one is. But anyway, they blow in the slightest breeze, and it all has to do with attracting the pollinator to come into the flower. That little wiggling is enough to bring whatever public fly come into the flower. This group looks like it would be the cerophyllum type thing, but it's section plumata, and this is the namesake for the group. So interestingly, this and its close relatives always have flowers in 4. So there's 4 flowers on each one of those things. So this is a really nice set of flowers. But over the last few years, some new ones have come out, which is Tyurum. And sometimes if you're lucky, you might order one and get another. But fortunately, I think all 3 of these close relatives are fairly available. So this is Tyurum, the nice, beautiful yellow. And this is Treshii, which, if you look, like, you're just go, oh, those are very similar to the first one. The plumata flowers are maybe like 3 inches. This one has flowers up to 9 inches. So, and it's very crinkly. You can see the texture. It's very crinkly. It's not smooth like the plumata. Anyway, this is Treshii. That might be Marnie's, but anyway, it's a very lovely thing. This is a group called Lepidorhiza. Again, not important, but this is a group that's sequential flower. So you can see the bracts. So flower came out of each one of those, and we'll continue on. The spikes are going to continue. This is one called Amphibrachiotum. For years, I knew it as orthoglossum. There's one called Carunculatum, which is also common. I think actually I see one of those up there. Yeah. So that's the Lepidorhiza section. So this is what I used to know as orthoglossum, and then this is one that's the Carunculatum. So what carunculate means like warty, bumpy. You know, it's got a very carunculate lip, so yeah, I don't know, it's all weedy and bumpy, and does that work? Okay. So,
Warty.
let's go, no, not warty, because that warty is papillus or other one. No, it's actually got like, it's got a channel, thank, yeah, that's good, I like it. So, anyway, this is my name after my friend Jim Coots in the Philippines. And this is a beautiful thing. It's actually flowers are about 2.5 inches or so. He and Jeff has made some nice hybrids using this one. So this is a really handsome flower. And I think that's actually two inflorescences. It's very unusual to have more than one flower open. So that actually could be one inflorescence with 2 flowers and 1 opening. So anyway, open from Coots is one to look out for. I think it's very attractive. This one, okay, this is the same group. These flowers, if that dorsal sepal, well, that dorsal sepal straight up.
Yeah.
And down to about that is about 14 inches. Called a kinolabium, which means spiny lip. And you know, it's not apparently obvious, but it smells really bad. It's so beautiful and it smells so bad. I can't, the warmer it gets, the worse it gets. So anyway, so a kinolabium, I'm not sure, it means spiny lip. So is it talking about this one big spine or all the little spines? So I don't know, but it's very cool. I just think. This is, so we talked about at dinner, the big fleshy leaf group of the macrobulbon section. Macrobulbon, you've got a real giant specimen, I understand, which I never got to see. But you brought it in one night. Yeah. So the leaves are 3 feet long. They have a kind of a weird, giant plum-like pseudobulb that's purplish. You can actually see that at the top up there. And a really long leaf. They're tropical. I remember Scott Dallas of White Oak, one of his in his cool greenhouse. So I think they're very tropical. Anyway, so this is Fletcherianum, again, extremely foul smelling, like it's so cool, but very foul, so.
Sounds like a dead rat.
Right, and this is, I think, the most beautiful of the groups. This is the macrobulbon group, and this is the species macrobulbon, and this is Jeff Tyler's plant of that. And this is Bulbophyllum. So, why is it called Phalaenopsis? Interestingly, the biggest species of Phalaenopsis is Phalaenopsis gigantea, which is at the 3-foot leaf. So that's why, that's the tie-in, why this is called Bulbophyllum, because it's big, long, fleshy leaves. So anyway, but this is again about 3.5-inch flowers, maybe 4 inches, and they smell really bad. I know Dale Martin, have you ever not yet got to Dale Martin's in the Sonoma Society, he used to come down here occasionally, has a pure green one, so I would love to get a picture of that. Yeah, I'd like to see that. So this is my friends Bill and Jan Miles.
Tell them I could use that.
There you go. Bill and Jan Miles in Australia, they live in Victoria, so about an hour and a half out of Melbourne, have the most amazing, to me, it's the best species collection, and it's a nursery too, it's the best species collection in Australia. They have things I've never seen, and probably never will get to see again. I'm going, I'm staying with them, so I get to see more things. You see inflorescence hanging down behind that plant of a Fletcherianum. This is just, they have tons, but look how many they got, and they range from, there's small species that have leaves under a foot long, even smaller than that, but most of them are actually quite large, as you can see. That's a handsome set of plants. This is a very cool group of Coriander. So the first one I saw, the inflorescence was the size of a dinner plate. It was 12 inches across, along Howard gun. I've seen other sets that have shrunk. It's not shrunk, it's not as big, but they're still always about 8 inches across. Each one of those is a flower. Each one, the lip bobs up and down. So it's been dikei, but through the wisdom of the taxonomists, they made it an Ericksoniad. They renamed it Ericksoniad, which is fine, except that they included variety fluorescens as an Ericksoniad. So what the heck? I don't know. But I mean, it is similar. It's all related. But look at this one comes in a cone, and all the little sickles kind of come up in the cone. Anyway, this one is so much more foul smelling than the last one. It is so rank. I mean, I can't express enough how distasteful this one's fragrance and odor is. It's amazing. So and this one too. This one is like you could be photographing the flies will land on it. So this is Pahudii, and the flowers. Really, the whole inflorescence is only about this around, but you got these good sized flowers all in a circle or semicircle, or most of a circle around the inflorescence. So it's pretty cool. And this one is in that group too. And this again, I said in the text, but they're often this color because because they smell really bad. It's a carrion, all right? It's like decomposing flesh. So that's why flies, oh my God, my girlfriend, or whatever. They have something to roll around it. So anyway, this one's very foul smelling. It's not very popular and it's not that beautiful stuff, but it's cool. This is actually in the same section. Marty refers to this as the million dollar bulbo,
$billion.
dollar bulbo, because people spent so much money. What's really sad about this is they discovered it in a national park in Malaysia, and almost everything you see is collected. Almost everything you get, except for now the seedlings coming out now recently, but they pretty much wiped out the park, in the park. So in my photos, when I sit in the wild, I tend not to put anything but like just for example, California wildfire, I'll put the county, but I won't put, unless it's in the national park, but I think I might even stop doing that. Because that's enough of people like, oh, I can track it down, I know the habitat. I don't have any GPS on my photos and nothing, but this one is not huge. The inflorescence is probably 4 to 5 inches. They probably can get bigger than that, but each flower is about not quite 50-cent piece, but they're so beautiful and they don't smell bad. It's like you really love that. I know, so my friend Cindy Hill had a couple when she sold her collection, and Jeff bought both of them. So this is one of Cindy's plants that Jeff bought. So
Ron, was it in Lulu National Park?
no, it was well, the name Cuba, NC, it means from Cuba. So I don't know if there's a park called Cuba, but anything with NC or NC after that, I should say that. Anything with something with NC or NC after that means it comes from that area. So say California NC, so California NC. So that's what that means. It's Cuba NC. Banditia is another group. Hyoscine has a lot of famous things in it. This one again is like it's very cool. It's a big flower. Again, if the dorsal sepal was up straight, it would be about a 9-inch flower, but generally it's about a 7-8-inch flower, and it's very attractive. It's single flower. It has things in this group like we know. Well, actually, this is Cindy's plant of Bulbophyllum fritillaria florum. So fritillarias are a kind of lily, and the most famous one is called the checkered lily, which is a checkered pattern. Hence, it's going for the pattern, not for the shape of the flower. Fritillaria florum, it's a New Guinean species. This is the common grandiflorum, or we know another one called Blue 40 NC. So it's also in that group. And interestingly, all of those white areas, light areas, are actually basically fairly, not translucent, but windows to confuse the pollinator when it's in there. So, and that's the thing about flowers. People think, oh, that's so beautiful. They don't give a hoot about us. They're doing it just to be pollinated. So they don't care anything about what we think about them. Another type of grandiflorum. This is a group. So in this group, Codona siphon, the lip's not hinged. It won't move. It won't move up and down. So there's a large group. This is one of the most beautiful ones. These that look like this, the bigger 3-inch flower ones, they're almost all New Guinean. So this is one that I've never seen. This is at my friend Jim Coots' in Australia. And this is one that I've never seen over here. I've never even seen it in a book, and I got to see it in the flesh. But look at the plant. Little bulbs appearing in the leaves, and it's very handsome. So Cophochropion, so just a cool thing. And I have this is my plant of Longa labra. So interestingly, that's its lip. So that's why it's Longa labra, because the segments are here. This group like this, the flowers last basically a little over a day, but it can bloom for a month or more. It just keeps putting flower after flower. So that one has flowers about 1.5 inches, because the plant's only about 1 inch, a little over, maybe not quite, maybe 1 inch tall. Labia very common. This is a wonderful group. Almost everything in this group is beautiful. Labia is very common, very easy to grow, wonderful to pass around. Large flower. Some of the clones are 6 inches. But what's amazing and what's happened with taxonomy, they've added a bunch of other things into labia. So these are things that are in labia also. So these are now considered forms of labia from various island populations. This is one they used to call Palawanense. From Palawan, it's the Philippine island that connects the southwestern part of the Philippines with Borneo. It's a long, narrow island that's kind of just right between the two of them, but is owned by the Philippines. They're Palawanense, form of labia. And this one used to be known as Sumatranum, is now labia, a subspecies graviform. So they're giving it some rank. They're saying it's different enough to be, it's evolving away. So this is something that's evolving away from the parent species. This one's a close relative, Dearii. I love it. It's easy to come by. Flower's only about 2.5 inches long, and some of the bigger ones. So you always see it like this. It's easy to come by. So again, easy to grow, but no one ever takes a picture like that. So I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, so. Getting on the wire, Claptonenses in this group, but I think it's just beautiful. Rich colors, it's very lovely. The flowers are about 3 inches in diameter. So Jeff has this plant. So anyone wants to reach out to him. This is a beautiful one. This is actually still segregated. Fascidum. This is beauty. It's got 3-inch flowers, but again, this is one of those weird things that about 4 o'clock in the afternoon it starts cupping up. It doesn't close all the way, but it cups up just enough to go, I don't want to bring it in. So one of the groups with the with deciduous leaves. So you can see the bulbs have no leaves on them. There's one called Hirtum. The section is Lemniscatum, just that's one of the few sections with just 2 leaves that go deciduous. This is a very cool one. So each 3 of those tails is 1 flower. So each flower has 3 tails. So these are called palliae too, because the tails, and again, in the slightest breeze, those things just wiggle all over the place. So it's kind of fun to tease them a little, right? So I think this is a stunning plant. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. And this is one that people seem to be having some luck keeping alive, because these can be kind of touchy, this group. This one called Commosa. I think, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, like snowflake or something. It's not really that, but it's very, very cool. I just think, again, I think it's the fringes, right? So I think that might be it. Yep. So all people I know who let me come all the time, give me keys to their greenhouses, come by anytime. This is to them. Thank you. And thank you for coming and listening to Bulbophyllums, because you might hate them. So real quickly, just 2 more things. Lights, please. So, real quickly, this is our book. This is our four set book. That's the covers folded out. The 4 books together weigh 28 pounds, so they're not light. They're not for lightweights, and they are not lightweight. So anyway, these are some pages from the book with, like, this is some of the additions. Like what we did differently in this book, in the first one, is at the end of each genus has a lot of pictures. We'd add more pictures. So under Mastidae, we added another, maybe another 100 species of just additional photos. But what is not shown here is the caption says its name, where it's from. It gives a bit of detail, not just a pretty picture, and then So anyway, that's a genus page. There's the opposite page. Anyway, so
Where did we get the book?
Well, I had a copy with it in my car until we took off from my house, but we have a few left. Or normally you order from Redfern being one word, Natural History Productions in England. Surprisingly, it's not that expensive. They got a really good rate to ship, and it comes quite quickly. So.
But I have 4 steps.
Yeah, so interestingly, Anna Chai, a friend of mine who doesn't come much anymore, got the first set of 2 books. I had one sent to her, and she thought it was so big and heavy, she thought it was a bomb on her front porch. Seriously. So, okay, last thing is, these are the plants I brought. This one was sold. So Brianna bought that one, so that's gone. There's a bunch, oops, go back. There's a bunch of plants of this. This is an unnamed species. That's my niece holding my plant. I got this plant in 1983, so I still have it. So the visions of that, it's an unnamed species. No one has verified to me that they can name it. People say, no, it's this. It's that. No, it isn't. I can tell you why. And anyway, Cattleya Milleri, there's 2 different clones there on the table for sale. There's 2 plants of Richardsoniana. We'll mention it's about a 2-inch plant, covers itself with flower. Very, very, very rare species, hardly in anyone's collection at all yet. This is from Peru. It was discovered in the last 10 years or so with Steve Beckendorf was on the party with Stig Dahlstrom. There was one of those. There's one of this Bolivian species of Walter Teague, who was our past member who passed away about 13 years ago, was instrumental in discovering. This is a awarded Mastidae caudata of mine. I got it. It was awarded originally with HEC. I put it in the PUS show, one of the hexagon booths displays. They got an AM, and the flowers are up to 9 inches, so it's a really nice thing. That's one of those over there. There's one of this over there, the yellow form of caudata called Forma xanthopuris. This is my plant of deformis that this got best in show for caudata 1 year, and there's 3 or 4 pieces of that over there, of that very plant. Beautiful, I love it. There's one of this is the weird Iria, it's a cool growing Iria, E-R-I-A, relative, distantly related to the dendrobiums. There's one terrestrial here. This is Fimbriatum, has purple spots on the leaves. It's kind of almost ever growing. There's a Mary on the table, which is an awarded one called Sunnyside, which is one plant of that. This is the subspecies now, the Australian thing, that's a separate subspecies. The southern population, they're very small plants. They're not your typical Kingians, they get up to over a foot. There's that. This was sold already. This is the pure white one. There's only one plant of that. This is the blue Dendrobium leucocyanum. So there's one plant over there, bare root, and somebody might have got that one. Anyway, that's very hard to come by, and that's it. So thank you. That's a thank you. How are you doing time?
Great.
Okay, all right. Look. I hope you sleep tonight.
Can I have minutes early?
No, Carl.
What's the sort of lifetime for these flowers?
They can be fairly short-lived. Somewhere, like I said, one was open. I close it every day. That's about 7 to 10 days. Both of them are, because there's so many species, they all last, like my Schillerianum, the little orange flower, that lasts for weeks. So it just depends on the species. But the bigger the flower, the faster, not the faster they go, but they're like, that's a lot of energy to expend,
I
so.
think he means for Lucasiana.
Thank you.
Oh, the Lucasiana, is that, you mean the blue one there, or just in general? Just, which did you mean, actually? I just started talking. Just, yeah. The answer I just gave, that's gonna stick. Who did I give this to?
Someone else.
Here, I think it goes there. I'm putting it here.
All right, I'm gonna close this. And we're needed, right?
And we're needing.
Oh, wait, so I have to give the screen back? Stop sharing.
Who is doing it? Jeff?
If I accident, won't do anything, right? Yeah, so the presentation is just like you.
The ones over there?
Oh my.
Yeah, that's a good way to read. Actually, that's how I met Ron years ago. They were in the peninsula, he was in Maine. And he gave a talk for, I like the Macedonia, that's the purple one there. And he gave a talk on that. And then about a week later, I got laid off. So I had nothing to do, and I was at one job. So I played around with myself. No cultural. So I called up Ron.
Attention! We are going to do show and tell now.
Yes, I've always worked for you. So I wrote I'm being called. You right back?
Yeah. Oh, right away. So really Parsons.
That's good.
All right, so I'm going to be doing our online show and tell. So first up, we have Kay Plum, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. So this is a Rhipidoblossom Nilari. She grows this in her intermediate greenhouse. It looks to be a cute little miniature. I love that she put a very fancy little ruler next to it. Very adorable. I can't tell you anything about this because I didn't prepare, but Ron, if you would like to say anything.
It's named Rickoid from Southern Africa, and I think it can actually get quite cold in the wintertime when it needs to be dry.
All right, and then Judy Blay, we have a Prosthecia Mariae, grown outside in San Francisco. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Some nice woodwork in the house, it looks like. Also from Kay, we have Pseudoarchis Praetermisa, grown in an intermediate greenhouse. Super cute.
The tropical African Rickoid.
Roswell Intermediate, oh, she says it up there too. Mine just finished blooming.
All right, and then Stuart, a Vonda, no ID, but yeah.
Ask us is a synonym.
Oh, yeah, but what's this?
Miniatum.
I'm sorry, what?
Miniatum.
Oh, Miniatum, okay, sorry. Oh, yeah, I see it in the background there. Okay. Apologies. Does it just look wet or is that all the dew on it?
No, it's wet.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. Great photo. Also from Stuart, we have Phalaenopsis violacea indigo. Beautiful.
I've been told to have a plant of that it's a hybrid. I don't know. It's a flower right now. It's beautiful, but it was wrong to say, oh, that's not.
It's so line bred, it might as well be a hybrid, I believe, and I'm not sure that that's, if you guys, it's from an area that they do a lot of manipulation and stuff to make new colors and stuff, that's something that would occur in the wild ever, so.
All right, and then also from Stuart, we have Rostropia gratulata. Very pretty. I love Rostropia. So beautiful. Do you grow that inside or outside?
It's in the greenhouse.
Greenhouse. Beautiful. All right, also from Stuart. Wow. Wait, this isn't a Tolonia. Hold on.
Oh, no, that's not. I don't know what
Okay.
It's a wannabe to look at.
Oh, what is it?
And Filbara, it's a multiple.
Yeah. But it's nothing.
BNFLB.
It reminds me, I have a Wilhelmara that's a little bit similar looking. Okay, so not sure where the Tolonia was. This is also not a Phalaenopsis.
There's a lot of ambient chatter going on. We can't hear what you're talking about.
Sorry.
So that's a Tindronia.
Yes. All right. Well, actually, we did this on purpose just to test everybody to see if you guys are on.
Awake.
Yeah, awake and on point tonight. Leptodes bicolor. Is beautiful little pink there. I love that.
That's a little Cattleya relative from Brazil. The whole genus is from Brazil, and this is the biggest of them, and it's not very big.
Okay.
That's a monitor. The only one in its genus, the only Podangus there is tropical Western Africa, and it's actually not super common in cultivation, but it's very handsome. It's got this fan of leaves that are fairly leathery, and it's got these little flowers with a very weird little spur that's swollen at the end. So it's a very cute little thing. You don't see it very much, but it is around if you hunt
How
for
big
it.
is that, Stuart?
Each flower is about 7 meters across. And they're translucent.
Yeah.
You can see right through the flower.
Really pretty.
So that's a great goal as well. Yeah? No, what's your question?
And great cord?
Yeah, it's a maker garden.
Oh, okay. Stuart also has given us a Bulbophyllum
So
tiorum.
this is the one I was telling you, for the Tronquetii, the TRONGQUYUTII.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Flowers don't last forever.
Yeah, I love the purple on the bulbs.
Yeah, that's the.
Okay, yeah, that looks more like a Tolumnia. Okay.
Is that the
so-
name for the other one?
Yes. So the Tolumnia, what was Tolumnia, Jarrett, Flyer, Red Spread.
And that's okay from our.
Yeah, oh, that's beautiful. Oops, sorry.
Sometimes I wonder how they just really stretch for names.
Banfield Mara, yeah.
I think if you're the maker the first time.
That's
you
the
get
balance.
That's the feeling. Okay, so that one actually is the
No, that's.
That one.
I haven't seen it.
Phalaenopsis alpinia.
No, no. Oh, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
The name is Phalaenopsis alpha.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see her. Does Mr. C,
That's the Mississippi.
yeah.
Were you in a hurry?
This is the name of it.
Yeah.
That's why. Names of the flower.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how they came here. So this is gorgeous. How big are those flowers?
Centimeter and a half, maybe.
Oh, okay.
It won't last forever on that. 4 inflorescence, but by the time we started to open the first one.
All right, and then Jeff Harris,
So this is a hybrid, Odon by certified. It's actually Odon, Tonia, so it's a
Miltonia,
Odon hybrid cross with certified. So it looks sort of Tonia.
That's the Brazilian Botanic Garden.
pretty.
No, no, sorry.
Gosh, gorgeous. Dave Hermeyer's Laelia tenebrosa, Cattleya massicanea, or Gana. That is absolutely gorgeous. Dave Hermeyer's Laelia preparata, striata.
That's a little thing. So everyone calls color forms variety, but varieties are regional populations that differ from the next one over. So it's actually, it's called, it's a form when it's just a color difference.
So it should be an F.
Yeah, it's like us, we could have a, I'll get them with brown hair, blonde hair, whatever. We just be color forms within a population.
but
So-
it's not the same as form.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Form and form. Form is just form out, yeah.
So there should be F striata, is that right?
It's just color color.
So would you say the correct way to put this is F striata?
Well, it's actually Cattleya preparata, F period, or form FMA period. Striata.
Yeah. And then Dave Hermeyer's Epidendrum Parkinsonianum. Wow. I want to see Dave Hermeyer's yard one day. He always has such amazing specimens. Wait, is that it? That is it. Okay, so now we're going to do, oh, there's Dave. Dave, love your flowers, amazing. Now we're gonna do the table in the room.
You want a phone?
I know who's gonna do phone.
I'll try to do it.
Okay, I'm gonna let Ron then read with you.
Which side do you want to start on?
I'm here.
Are you on? I'm not seeing.
Doesn't matter though, if you want,
Hold on.
maybe I'll do it, I'll go there.
Derek, are you logged in as yourself? Or are you on SF conference line?
I'm gonna come in as myself.
So I think people like to know who people are. So this is Florence plant, Maxillary attenuifoliates, the coconut fragrant orchid. Usually comes in a red, mottled reddish, orangish red, not pure red, normal color form. This is one is called Hamada, got an award of merit some years ago. Now it's very common, very widespread, easy to come by because it's such an easy to grow plant, but it's still a very wonderful thing. That's brought by Florence Incerto. Martin Tikel brings in a number of things, always interesting. She brings in this little Angricoid called Limarella. There's only like a handful of species. This one is Culicifera, little tiny green flowers. They all have a nectary, they all have a spur, pollinated by various night flying moths, and most are fragrant at night, but I don't know if my sniffer's working today. She brings in Phalaenopsis lindeni seed grown. So this is actually a somewhat cooler growing species of Phalaenopsis. I know when I was in the Philippines and visited Purification Orchids, they had a real struggle trying to keep this one going in their lowland nursery. So it doesn't want to be cold, but it wants to be cooler than tropical. This is really one of my favorites, and until Marnie showed off this tonight, I thought mine was the best I'd seen. I no longer have to plant, so it's not really a right. But that's a great little head of flowers on this thing. It was we call Pterocereus semiteridifolia. That's Brachypisa semiteridifolia. So anyway, very cool little guy. It's got a slight fragrance. It's not super long, but it's lasts a week, 10 days maybe. Flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has a little fragrance. Got it?
Yep. Where does that come from?
This is, I want to see somewhere in Indonesia, I believe. It's not Philippines, so. It's Indonesian. I want to say Sumatra, but I'm not positive of that. This is a quite unusual Phalaenopsis called Lowii. It's interesting because it's in its own section. The name like proboscoid because this column comes out, has this long nose and down. So very lovely species, Lowii from Borneo.
There are seedlings of both the Lowii and the Lindeni for sale on.
So years ago, and unfortunately this is no longer, but there was a lady from Madagascar. She was at a nursery in Madagascar. You could get plants from her called Michelle, and her name was Michelle, and the business was Malala orchids. And this is a plant that came from Malala orchids a number of years ago. So it's an unidentified Angricum. There's 200 species, so there's not a great source for all of them. There are some really good books on the Madagascar orchids, but I don't know what this one is. Not that that means anything. But I don't know anyone I've never seen a name on it, nor anyone who knows what that one is. So it's an Angricum species.
Looks healthy.
It is healthy. All right, so let me go to the side so I'm not blocking it. That makes more sense. Oh, maybe that doesn't make more sense. So this Mastidalia is brought in by Sharon. Sorry, Sharon. Palmisano.
Really good.
Okay, Mastidalia red wings, the clone Volcano Queen, which is awarded as an HCC, a highly commended certificate. Is that correct for judges? Yeah. I'm not an award guy really, but this is one brought by Sharon. Also, it's just an unidentified mini veil, but they've done so much breeding with them that most are pretty spectacular. This is a Tolumnia, which is Tolumnia used to be known when I first started as Equiton incident because of the equal back and forth leaves like an iris. This is Tolumnia sweet pink. These are all Caribbean. The parents are Caribbean, so they're like warmth. They're like fairly bright, not hot sun, not on them, but they can take fairly bright light. They're frequent watering as long as they don't stay wet more than like that day.
Can I make a comment?
Mm-hmm.
Carol Planowski spoke in Sonoma on Equitons, and if you haven't had her, it's just great talk.
We had her last year.
We had her last
She
year.
did the Tolumnia talk.
Excellent.
Really.
It was awesome.
So this is a wonderful species of Paphiopedilum, lady slipper orchid. This is a Sharon plant of Limiana. Limiana is Sumatran, I believe. Anyway, it's a great, this group of paths is sequential. So you can see it's got these bracts and keep growing and growing and growing and growing. So I've seen them where the flowers are, the spike is lasting for a year when the next spike is coming along. So that's a really cool species. So Jeff Harris brings in this Promenea. Promenea is in the Zygopelma group. And so all of them are Brazilian. There were about 18 species, of which we can see about 6 or 7 in cultivation. And then some botanist got in his mind to say they're all one species. It's like, dude, that is extreme. I mean, that's really out to lunch to me. Sorry, hope he's not on the Zoom.
It's them clumpers. What can you do?
Right. So I pick and choose. I think I'm the only one some of them. So this is incredible. This, where's the card for the Brussels Bola? So he let me photograph. Where's Don again? There you are. Sorry, you're just kind of small there. Don he brought in this big plant though of Brassivola appendiculatus. So we knew it as years as cucullata, but cucullata is a very similar species in the Caribbean, whereas this is Central American, I don't know its entire range. But interestingly, this one inflorescence, I've never seen one with more than 3 flowers. This one's got 5. I mean, that's not like, not that weird, but I've never seen one do that. That's incredible. So that's a very happy plant. I think we're going forward on it, by the way. And usually it's got one of the longest ovaries. So orchids have what's called an inferior ovary, meaning it's below the flower or behind the flower. And so they're also called, so pedicel is a flower stem. So pedicel ovary is the pedicel, the stem that holds the flower. So the ovary is only from the base to the back of the flower. So that's all the ovaries. So that's one of the longest ovaries, and then he's got a seed pod forming right there. So.
Wow. And it's starting to open. It looks like it's got a crack.
Yeah, you said it was starting to crack there. So this is Brassivola appendiculata.
Really?
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Where do you grow that?
I don't know how it was in here actually.
The doors are open during the summer, like in San Francisco, so it's cool.
So this
It
is
gets
Don's.
down to about 65.
So Don brings, that's a great blooming. Why did my camera miss that? Shoot. I think they'll go away. So this is a really lovely blooming of Prosthecia maryi. There's only 2 species in this exact group. Anyway, they're Prosthecia maryi is a wonderful species. Evidently it grows further north in Mexico than the tip of Texas comes down into Mexico. So it's in northern Mexico, but it's further north than the south of Texas. So anyway, it's a species that it thinks cool, likes cool, but it doesn't want to be it doesn't love being as cool as I'm growing it. And I've got about 7 or 8 of them. I brought one tonight, was an awarded one that got picked up. But it's a wonderful species and it must be fairly dry in the winter, but you don't want to bone dry. You want to give it a little bit of moisture during the winter, like a little bit of drink every couple of weeks. Not soaking it, but just, wet it. So Fred Anderson brings in this Phragmipedium dormant. This is the clone Mojave, which has an award of merit, AM, which is AM, or award of merit. So Fred is right here. And so got Bestii in it, and then what else? I don't know my hybrids that well. Some people can tell what's in it, but most of the time I can't. So Todd Kennedy is, where's Todd? Oh, it's judging. So Todd brought in this, I want to say 6 species of Rossioglossum. When I started, these were Odontoglossum, no longer. This is Rossioglossum schlieperiana from Costa Rica. The famous one, Grande, is from southern Mexico and Guatemala. But anyway, this is a beauty, schlieperiana. We talked about Bulbophyllum, so I know you want to hear more and all about them. But this is the one I showed you in my talk. That was, I said, section Lepidorhizos. And this is actually a hybrid of 2 species of that section, Carunculatum and Belcampii. So now it's Amphibacteriatum variety Carunculatum, which is perfect. Anyway, very cool flowers. You can see the sequential pattern. It's going to have a lot more buds coming up that will, after this flower drops, they'll continue to grow.
That's smell.
Probably. Yeah, no,
If you put your nose in it, that's all.
Does? Yeah. Not right now, not really.
You cannot see on the camera, but you have to come look at this.
It's so beautiful.
So then I'll go to this one. Is this yours too?
Yeah, no, that was Dawn's. He
Oh,
brought
okay.
that to show my.
Oh, I'm sorry, Don. So that was Don. Don, sorry, Don.
Yeah.
Don't hate me, don't hate me.
So I have the species form of that.
Okay, this is Carunculatum, yeah.
Carunculatum.
Yeah, so it's got that weird, I tried to show you my picture, but that weird, twisty,
Yeah,
gnarly, blackish lip.
yeah. And this is, I think, the 4th or 5th flower in the 6 cycles.
All right.
So far.
So your last name's Croce?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. We worked together at the Orchid Society.
And then, yeah, that little one is mine.
This is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bulbophyllum.
yeah.
So is this a rhomboblastic? What's that?
Bolster.
Oh, bolster. So this is the one that closes up at 10:30 in the morning every day. By 11 o'clock, you're on the left.
Exactly. It's like flat like that almost all the day, except in the morning.
Right. They're very easy to pass around. If you just cut the rhizome, you get 3 or more bulbs for a division, and they're good that way. So. So another maryi. This is Sorry, I'm saying like last, I hate to see the green glasses. This is Rhiannon, oh no, that's not. This is Justin Peng.
Yeah.
Okay, so Justin brought in this, another protected area, so you see it's beautiful. Unfortunately, these don't last a lot, I really hate that you wait all year, but they last about, I mean, they last for a bit, the lips are spotting up pretty quickly, but they last maybe 10 days or so. And try and keep the flower wet when you have it, so that just shortens their life, like their flower life even more. How was that? How was that? Sitting on its, like that? You know what? Take it. All right, so these two are sibling, same parents. This is primary hybrid. Primary hybrid is a cross between two species, a complicated or whatever it is for complex hybrid. This is a cross between two species, Cattleya Schofieldiana, which used to be like a 4-foot plant, with Cattleya tigrina, which used to be about a 3-foot plant. So these are little tiny babies. So the Schofieldiana gives it that kind of long petal shape, and the tigrina gives it kind of the color and the dark. I mean, they share characteristics, but that's what's given it there. This
Look
is
how
another.
different they are.
These are babies. What's that?
Look how different they are.
Right. So they're both so Cattleyas are either unifoliate, willing for both, or bifoliate. These are both bifoliate species. Justin also brings in this Stemistachia, which this thing just covers up with flowers. It's got few little tiny flowers on it right now. It's actually a warm growing, a tropical growing fruit salad, so you don't want to grow it cool. It'll really do much better if you grow it warm. It comes from like lowland. I've seen it in Belize and Guatemala and stuff. So, and it's much more widespread than that. And I like this. This is a very widespread, very variable species of Acidium lentifolia. This is probably like Alan. Oh, like Liberace, just one name, eh? Liberace is. So this is a great species. So it's got a slew of synonyms of names. So they're ones like Bulbophyllum or Apicastrophilia. Anyway, it ranges from plants that are like little tiny. So once it's brought in a plant to the meeting one time years ago, it's a 2-inch plant in bloom, and I've seen it look this big. It's so widespread, so variable. It's a great thing. It's very unusual. It has like cigar-shaped pseudobulbs. It's got handsome leaves. So it's a really nice thing. Marty used to have a couple, 1 or 2 different ones at least. Yeah. So, and then I know Marty's plants really well. We've been friends about 40 years, and I go up there every 3 weeks as I make a pattern. So this is
Tiny Metal Advanced Australia from Jerry.
oh, that's why you know. There you go.
He wrote the tag.
Yeah, right. It's his plant, it helps too.
Yep.
Yeah. So these are great. This is a great genus. People grow them cool and they can grow cool. I've got species now. I got a few species outside, but I think the hybrids like a little bit warmer. I don't think you're growing this outside year round. Inside, yeah. So I think they do better. The hybrids do better in a heated greenhouse, if not just a cool but heated greenhouse. Anyway, he already said the name. Are these your shoe that you're gonna?
Yeah.
And beat me up. So, Vincent, Pietro Martia, Vincent, is that right? Did I get? I need glasses.
Challenging last name.
No, I got it.
Let's say it.
If I can say something named Pietro Martia. Pietro Martia. So this is announced by Aurora by Sensation, which means it's an unnamed cross, but doesn't mean it's not going to be named. It's a lovely thing. This is it's got the 2 main species probably in it, Beachiana and Coxsackie. But anyway, it's a lovely thing. You go to the south side of the area. Yeah, they're good for that. And especially in San Francisco, Pacifica, San Bruno, into Miranda a little bit. This plant is announced by Royal Monarch. So this is a hybrid that involves Mercura, the largest of all of the Mastidias. So it's a beautiful, bright yellow color. One more thing. All right. So this is one of those Agamesia crosses. So this is Melinda names. Melinda. Oh no, it's The owner is Dietz. I can read.
Phyllis.
What? That's Phyllis? Not what it says here.
That's yours? Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, so what's the Melinda mean then? Is that one of the parents? Well, I could do that if I know.
What a concept.
So I don't know the genus name. It's a complex zygopetalum group involving Aganesia, but it's Melinda Marie and blue fairies across. So I know that Brookside Orchids has a lot of these in Aganesia. They're just really beautiful flowers.
Gorgeous flowers. Yeah.
But I didn't get your name right. All right.
Thank you.
You're good.
Okay, now we're gonna take a break for about 10 or 15 minutes, and now's the time that you can talk to your friends. You can go over and look at the plants and talk to everybody and ask all the questions you want.
And by raffle
And then
tickets.
and buy raffle tickets.
Wait until I get there.
Okay, goodbye online.
There's Francis.